Welcome. My name is Antony and I am a composer. Music has been the epicenter of my life since a supposed accident happened to me at the age of 12, which suddenly everything began from that moment. I entered the world of music, and as you know, all worlds are inside. My project, Lacrimae, Mundi, is a large-scale symphonic piece for a very equally large body of strings, which will include soloists, solo violin, solo cello, solo viola, and even solo double bass, which will permeate the work as it progresses through time. This work promises to touch upon a huge variety of experience, from lush romantic harmonies to arid deserts of extreme dissonance, from turbulent emotional passages to chords and sounds that are almost silent. Now, composers, as a breed, suffer a lot from the general public, and people who don't understand us very well have always tormented us with questions. The first question is, how do you write music? Well, I'll show you very quickly how I write music. That, a pencil and a rubber. That was Stravinsky's answer when he was asked the same question 100 years ago. A pencil and a rubber. I'm not sure which I use most, but these are the classical instruments of composing. I only use my mind, and I use these to transfer my ideas from my head onto paper. A very old, long-held tradition. Now, the other question people ask you when you create something, how did it begin? Well, let me tell you, this is an unusual case because there were definite events that began and preceded that created this work. I can go back to a particular instance when I woke up one morning in my bed, and I was alone in my bed, so I thought, and a voice behind me said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yes, I'm feeling fine." But that's not true. I'm underlined. And suddenly a whole row of lyrics streamed out of me, which had never happened to me before, and I jumped out of bed and I went straight onto my work table and began to write them down before I lost them. It was like coming out of a dream in a conscious state, you could say. And suddenly, not only did I have this flow of words, it came with a melody, a very distinct melody. "Are you okay? Yes, I'm feeling fine. But that's not true. I'm underlined." And so forth. And I suddenly realized that there was something here. So I worked for 1 or 2 days, and I completed a pop song about 3 minutes long with 3 stanzas. And that was the first event that took place. The second event, I was sitting in front of my synthesizer, and I thought, what would happen if? And what would happen if is a very big question. I decided to ask it. What would happen if I harmonized this melody using the simple white notes of the scale of the piano keyboard? On the white notes of the keyboard, I decided to begin on F and harmonize the melody, Silly Old Moo. Here is the evidence, the original thing, Silly Old Moo, which was the name of the pop song, and I took the melody but that's not true, I'm underlined. I'm out of sorts, under the weather. I'm in a tears, don't know what to do, and so forth. It has some quite crazy lilies about going to the zoo to see a kangaroo and various things like that. But I decided to, as I mentioned earlier, to subject the melody to a process of classical music called stylization, to begin to bring it into a new form, because that's how you take an idea and you subject it to a certain treatment, which is called classicism, which is creating a new form out of an old form, a melodic fragment, a bird song, anything like that. And so I began the process of harmonizing it with the rising scale of F. Now, it's an interesting thing. F, the C major scale, the C is the king of the white notes. F should have a B flat in it, but in my way of treating it, I made it a modal thing because I missed out the B flat, and so I harmonise the melody on the white note, using purely the white notes. And going back again, continually ascending. You know, an octave is not a true term. It's a septive, because the eighth note is the beginning of the next row of notes. The octave is where one's climbing to. One is going to a higher and higher level. It has a deep spiritual allegory there. But so actually the octave is actually a septive. It goes a seventh. The next note is the next octave, or the next septive. And so it climbs up the keyboard. And in traditional keyboard there's 49 notes, the 49 truths of the Buddha. 49 and 7 have a very deep roots in our existence and our lives and in all spiritual teachings. So I harmonise it by a rising scale of 7 notes beginning with F. The result of which was this. I found I had discovered magic. Thus, Lacrimae Mundi was born. Suddenly, out of this melody, harmonized by a simple rising scale, gave birth to this piece of music. I'll play you at the end of this little introduction to myself and my music, and the whole section. Now, there was a third event that took place. Soon after I had started on this work, this was a kind of supernatural experience, and it really did happen. I have, I may warn you, a psychic faculty. And I do experience things which other people say are not there, but I actually regard this world as supernatural, and in fact that the world we can't see is the real one. I turn things upside down. And I was walking up a street at night pushing my mountain bike, and just in that strange time of day called twilight, and we do not have the concept of the twilight zone for nothing. I was walking my bike up a street, and suddenly my mind was filled with this incredible music which I'd never heard before, beautiful, powerful music, at the very essence of which was an intense sense of sorrow. And it was beautiful and powerful on a string orchestra inside my mind. And as I looked up into the sky, I stopped dead in my tracks, you could imagine, with such an experience. And as I looked up into the sky, there came apparently out of the sky drops of water, like tears, but they weren't made of water. And these huge globules fell down my hands, down my face, but they weren't water. And I suddenly realized these were the tears of the world. Hence my piece, Lacrimae Mundi. And that is how my work was birthed. And I went home and started the intense process of work. In the winter of 2010, I laid down, you could say, the foundation material for this piece, which I am now presenting to you now, asking you to help me to finish and finalize the creation of this piece. The most wonderful gift anyone can give a creative artist is the space in time in which he can realize his or her visions. This is what I've come to you to ask you to assist me with. I reckon I need between 15 and 18 months of uninterrupted work to bring this work to its fulfillment. Many compositions are destroyed or not allowed to reach their true potential due to people having to be in a hurry. What I'm asking for is a little relief from this endless problem that creators have, that I may have sufficient space in time to bring this work to its full richness and fulfillment. I need the money to enable me to live, to sustain me in between these 12 to 18 months, and so I can live moderately and in relative peace and quiet without financial worries. This is the most wonderful thing you could ever do for me. I cannot tell you what a wonderful gift that would be. Therefore, I hope I have interested you in my project Lacrimae Mundi. And as I promised, I'm ending this video representation of my work a little bit. I dedicate this video to my Princess of Painted Flowers, and as I said, I would end it with a little performance on my synthesizer using the string section of an orchestra to give you a taste of the work. But don't be deceived, it is an innocent C major. My work takes you to some extraordinary tonal, atonal and extreme territories which really investigate all the lengths and depths of the human hearts, thus bringing about human sorrow. Lacrimae Mundi, the tears of the world. Thank you very much. There it is, the opening section of Lacrimae Mundi. Thank you very much.